Before this video starts, I need to say one thing clearly. The recordings you're about to hear were not recovered from a crime scene. They were not submitted to the police. They were not archived by any authority. They were found, accidentally, on an old hard drive, inside a folder labeled Do Not Play. Every file inside it was corrupted, except one. And after listening to it, I understand why someone wanted it erased. Because these aren't ghost recordings. They aren't paranormal evidence. They are people realizing too late that something is recording them back. The hard drive belonged to a sound technician named Argun Malhotra. Freelance. Low budget. Projects. Mostly urban exploration audio logs. He vanished in 2019. No missing report. No obituary. His landlord sold his belongings. That's how the drive surfaced. What you're about to hear is a reconstructed narration of the final recordings recovered from it. The timestamps are real. The fear is unmistakable. Here is the first recording. It's labeled Test Audio. Test recording. Location: abandoned municipal records office. Basement level. No electricity. No active lines. Acoustics are strange. I keep hearing a delay, not echo. Delay. Like the room is listening before answering. The building was sealed in the early 2000s. Official reason: structural instability. Unofficial reason: multiple complaints of voices heard on inactive floors. No deaths recorded. No crimes. Just abandonment. Arjun returned there 3 nights in a row. Only one night was recorded fully. This is the recording from that night. I'm on the second basement level. There's graffiti everywhere, but some of it looks layered. Like someone wrote over old writing. Same handwriting. Different messages. One of them says, "Stop recording. Nice try." Did you hear that? That wasn't my voice. Audio experts later analyzed that clip from Arjun's second recording. The voice that applied to him, the one that said "we are," was a perfect pitch match to his own voice. The chilling part, it was spoken 0.7 seconds before he even asked his question. That isn't an echo. It's not a delay. It's anticipation. This leads us to the third recording, which Arjun labeled IT Knows the Questions. You can hear his breathing is much faster now. His voice strained. He says, "I asked the room something just now, off mic. I didn't record the question, but," it answered. A faint whisper is audible in the background, almost too quiet to decipher. Arjun's voice trembles as he continues. "That's not how sound works. That's just ... That's not possible." There's a long, heavy pause on the tape, filled with the thick silence of the abandoned building. Then, a horrifying realization dawns on him. "I think this place, it remembers voices. I think it learned mine." After that discovery, a clear pattern emerged in Arjun's behavior. He began recording constantly, leaving the device running for hours, sometimes days, at a time. It wasn't for documentation anymore. He wasn't trying to capture evidence of the paranormal. He was recording for protection, because he noticed something terrifying. Whenever he stopped the recorder, whenever the room fell silent, the voices became clearer, louder, more confident. It was as if the silence emboldened them, allowing them to seep into the world without the filter of the microphone. The fourth recording, titled Simply Stopping, captures this perfectly. It begins with the distinct click of the recorder turning on. Arjun's voice is shaky, close to the mic. "I tried turning it off," he whispers. "Just for a second. I felt pressure, like someone leaned right up close to my ear." As he speaks, you can hear it again, a low, sibilant whispering in the background, like wind rustling through dead leaves. "It doesn't like the silence," Arjun concludes, his voice filled with dread. "It wants proof it exists. It needs to be heard." The machine wasn't just a tool anymore. It had become his shield against the oppressive, waiting silence. This brings us to the final recording, the one that was never labeled. The file is corrupted, filled with heavy static and waves of distortion that make it almost But through the noise, Arjun's voice cuts through, desperate and final. "If you're listening to this," he says, the words strained, "it means I didn't leave. I couldn't." The static swells, almost swallowing his next words. It started finishing my sentences for me. Then it started finishing my thoughts. A long, unnerving pause follows, the silence more terrifying than any sound. "I think this is how it escapes," he says, his voice barely a whisper. "By being heard." There's a moment of sudden clarity in the audio, the static completely vanishing. Arjun's voice is clear as a bell as he pleads, "Please don't." And then the recording cuts off, abruptly midword. That's the last thing anyone ever heard from him. In the investigation that followed, nothing was ever found. No body, no exit footage from the building's security cameras. There was absolutely no evidence that Argon ever left the abandoned asylum. All that was recovered was the hard drive containing his recordings. On it, investigators found one last file. It was a file created automatically by the system just moments after that final, chilling recording ended. Its name was Upload Ready. Sound doesn't truly die, it just fades. It lingers in the quiet places of the world, waiting, listening. And sometimes, if it listens long enough, it learns how to speak back, especially when someone is brave enough or foolish enough to press record. Thanks for listening.